Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Micheal Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. I'm having technical difficulties this morning personally just because I did not get enough sleep last night and I'm discombobulated. So bear with me as I refocus myself. So I'm just going to take a deep breath. Take one with me. It's a brand new day and we're going to do this thing. Okay? Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. And Life is a Sacred Journey. I'm going to adjust my lighting here a little bit. It's a little too bright. There we go. All right. There we go. So it is New Year's Eve, and I drove in, and there was no big traffic. It was really easy, and I am excited about the new year. You know, I'm excited about, I'm trying to get my face so I don't have two faces. There we go. I'm excited about the new year. I'm excited about 2022 and what it has to offer all of us as we tiptoe into it. But I wanted to, before I go into the 21 things, we're getting it back up on my phone. So 21 good things that happened in 2021. I want to share with you 3 books that I'm beginning the new year with. One of them is Amanda Gorman's Call Us What We Carry. It's a book of poetry. And it is an incredible book of poetry. I have her other book. This is actually a gift that I'm getting ready to send to someone. But this young woman is really a prophet, you know, and she reminds me, her writings remind me of Maya Angelou and Nikki Giovanni and all the poets that I, specifically those 2 that I grew up with. So Sanchez. So Amanda Gorman, Call Us What We Carry is one book that I'm beginning the year with. I just got a Christmas present yesterday, 1619 Project. I forgot it because I was going to show you the cover, but that's another book that I actually started last night, and it's very good. So 1619 Project is another book. I'm also I just got this as a present, and so I will be starting the year with this. It's a journey through the Psalms, and it's written by my dear friend Skylar Rhodes, and it's reflections for worried hearts and troubled times. So Skylar's been on Life is a Sacred Journey. We are dear friends. He was our district superintendent for the United Methodist Church for the Los Rios district, but he has written this incredible book. So I'm going to be reading this. And then I got myself another copy of Self-Love Workbook for Women, and I will be redoing this entire year. I will be doing this again, and Nancy Redding and I will be putting together a women's retreat. I can't remember the date. Maybe if Nancy's with us, she can put it in the chat, and we will be using some of the concepts from Megan's book for that. But this is a great book for anybody out there that has any doubt, anxiety, any of that stuff, that it's a great way to chip away slowly but surely at the stuff that life does to us. So here we go. It's a 2-part approach in this book. And then, you know, Megan has been with us. So those are the books that I'm going to sit next to. And then I had one other. Oh, thank you, Jane. I had one other book, like I said, the 1619 Project, but there was another book, but I'll bring it next week because I know what it is. I ordered it. It was Nancy Redding told me about it, and I didn't know anything about it. It's I think it's titled Joy, and it's Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama. So I ordered that, and it's coming to my house. I can't wait to look at that. So those are the books that I'm going to be pondering and reading the beginning of the year. They won't be my only books because I need to read more than that. And I'm reading multiple books all the time. I half read books and then I go back to them. And I actually thought about giving away all of the Harry Potter books, and I changed my mind. I'm keeping them because I'm going to read Harry Potter again too. So yeah, so those are the great things. So I found a list here of 21 things that made the world a better place in 2021. And then I'm going to put some stuff in there as we go forward. But I do want to make sure that we start off, as we always do, recognizing those who have gone before. And in 2021, many of us lost family and friends that we have not gotten over. I know my brother's birthday was on the 29th, which, is a couple of days ago. And that was a very difficult, now I know why I'm not sleeping. Very, very difficult day for me, and continues to be. But we move forward in life, but we light a candle for those individuals that we know. Desmond Tutu, oh my gosh, a man who gave so much to the humanity and changed the world. A tiny man, of stature. I had the opportunity to hear him live, and when I saw him, his heart and his wisdom and his love for God, his love for the humanity was so big. He looked 10 feet tall. But, when you read about him, he was a small man of stature, but a beautiful, beautiful man of heart and wisdom and agape, which is unconditional love. So rest in peace, Desmond Tutu, and thank you for everything that Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Thank you so much for what you have given us all. Every person on the face of the planet was changed because this man walked among us. So, and then for all of us that are left grieving someone that we love, whether we lost them in 2021 or we lost them prior, we still are grieving them. So that's what the candle is for. That's why the candle is lit. And it's lit for hope in 2022 that we get the darn thing right. Every day that we wake up, we get a chance to get the darn thing right. So hopefully in 2022, I got to get used to saying it, we will get it right. So 21 things that kind of made 2021 not so bad, but we already know what we had to deal with, which was bad. We're going to celebrate today the things that were good. More than 8.47 billion COVID-19 vaccinations were administered globally. So that's 8.47 billion COVID-19 vaccinations were administered globally. And we still need people to be vaccinated. We're finding now the pediatric rise of children. I think they said this morning when the news was like between 10 and 15 or 17, and then another gap in the younger ages where they realized that because they got vaccinated later, or some of them are not vaccinated at all because maybe their family member got vaccinated because they had to for a job, but they were against the vaccination, and so therefore the child didn't get vaccinated. And then we had Thanksgiving, and then we had holiday, and then kids are back at school face to face. So we're seeing a rise in pediatric diagnosis of COVID. So again, let's be careful out there, continue to wear our mask. Again, I cannot tell you to go and get the COVID vaccine. I hope that you would, because it is something that is proven that no, it doesn't mean that you won't get COVID, but it means you won't get sick and die from COVID. And we're still able to transmit. So we can walk around all with the vaccine and transmit. But if that herd effect thing that Dr. Pearl talked about last year, almost this time, it means that then we pass it back and forth, but we don't get ill. So, and we don't die. So I don't know, everybody has to make their own personal decision about what they want to do. But at the end of the day, we are supposed to be in this together as a humanity. So try to make a decision that's not going to hurt your neighbor, even if try to make a decision that won't hurt your neighbor. Okay, so scientists revealed that cheese isn't bad for you. I was so excited about this one, Christmas Day, because I had truffle cheese, I had wine cheese, I had, I ate macaroni and cheese. I was like, this is a good one. But they're saying that cheese is not that bad for you. That actually it's with everything. It's when you moderation, but the cheese actually has some good components in it, and it's good. It tastes good, and we love cheese. So, and the Great Resignation took place in 2021. It gave workers their lives back. So we all have been talking about the pandemic and what happened and looking into the new year, and everybody, including myself, my life has slowed down. I've said no to certain things that I'm okay at saying no about. I spent more time, maybe not physically with my family, but in Zoom with my family, like the family that I was birthed from and seeded from, generations of us. And we meet every Sunday as a family at 2 p.m. to just talk and say, how you doing? And we come together. So that is a very cool thing. And that didn't happen for me as a part of it before the pandemic. So I think that we need to understand, look at the throw away the bad and look at some of the good things, that came out of the pandemic. And one of them was the great migration from people working these crazy hours and people realizing that they could grab a minute for themselves. And so we have noted that people are moving around, and I'm going to look at the number. It says 2.7% of the American workforce quit their jobs, setting a new record that was then beaten again in August of 2021. So people are either retiring early. A lot of people were 65 and they just said, that's it, we're done, we're out. And were able to do so financially. A lot of people downsized and moved into smaller quarters or their forever home so that they wouldn't have to move again. A lot of people migrated out of the state. Older people migrated out of the state where they could use their Social Security and have income and live, out the rest of their life in an environment that was financially comfortable. So a lot of good came out of that. But there was a great mass exodus from the grind of work. And I think that might be something that's good for us, that we don't have to work 24/7. We don't have to stay at a job from sun up to sundown. That productivity really is measured by the relationships that we have. And so I can't wait to see how this changes the capitalistic system. I was talking to Jason Matthews yesterday, and we'll have him on pretty early in January to talk about the financial status and all of that. But yeah, you begin to realize that the relationship stuff really was suffering as a humanity, and now we're rebuilding that with starting with our core families, community, and then hopefully within the greater world. They say that drones helped us get a handle on plastic pollution. So the drones were sent out from the UK. It was a UK-based company, and they started sending out the drones to see what was happening with plastic. And we began to see plastic that was floating up against islands that are not habitated or there's no people living there. And the reality is we're beginning to truly understand what we have done as a humanity with the ecosystem with plastic. And I know I was remembering back, I think it's the something Mrs. Robinson, the movie, if you know what I'm talking about, write it in the chat, where that's when plastic, it was in the 60s or something like that. And the man says, plastics, young man, plastics, Mrs. Robinson. I think that's the movie, something about Mrs. Robinson. And I know, and that's when plastic became something that we started to use in mass for storage and for other things. It has its use, but we've gone overboard. And quite frankly, things taste so much better in glass. I mean, I buy my milk in glass containers, my half and half, all of that, and it just tastes better. So let's make a vow going into 2022 that we'll lower our plastic usage, because we really need to do that. So a human mind was wirelessly connected to a computer. So in March of 2021, they were able to here's my early morning voice, wirelessly, thank you, attach a computer to a paralyzed person who was unable to speak and use it from the mind, not from verbalization. And that was so we're getting closer and closer and closer to being able to communicate without speaking, and to help those individuals who have no verbal ability to communicate with others, not just by typing, but by using their mind. So that's pretty fascinating to me as a sci-fi person. You know, in the sci-fi movies, that's been happening forever. But to know that this is going to be a medical achievement that's going to assist others in living out their best lives, that happened in 2021. China eliminated malaria. I mean, I didn't even know this happened, but as of June, malaria, the World Health Organization declared China free of malaria after decades of targeted and sustained action against the disease that started in the 1940s in China. So that was another great thing that happened. Malaria, as you know, is one of those diseases that is mosquito transmitted. So we're very glad to hear that China is out of the danger of malaria. Another great thing that happened in 2021, and I'm just reading this, and my political beliefs have nothing. I'm smiling, but so you know, I'm happy with this. But anyway, Donald Trump was banned from Twitter. So I'm just going to say that and keep it moving. Dutch bee hotels helped bee populations remain stable. So this happened in 2021. More than 11,000 people counted bees as part of the Netherlands National Bee Census in 2021, when what they discovered was encouraging, as urban bee populations were found to have remained steady over the past few years. You know, we've been talking about bees and how important bees are to the ecosystem, and that they were dying because of chemicals and global warming and all of that. Well, we're stabilizing it in the Netherlands. This is a research study. And so yay for the bees in 2021, and yay for us, because when there are no bees, we have a problem. We have a problem with the being able to pollinate vegetables and all kinds of things all over the world. So yay for the bees in 2021. Analysts built software that revolutionized the fight against child sexual abuse. This is the Internet Watch Foundation in Cambridge, in England, worked really hard to make sure that this software was going to be able to be used worldwide. And so this is amazing. This reminds me, I believe the date is January 16th. Sandy Blazer, if you're here, please put it in the chat. The United Methodist Women at Concord United Methodist Church are having an incredible seminar on child sexual trafficking, sex trafficking. And so we have an expert that will be coming and speaking to us about that. And they're going to open that up to the general public, and you can get the Zoom link to do that. This is a big, big issue. This, as you know, I will be having conversations, folks coming on January, February for us to talk about this. This is another thing that's near and dear to my heart that we must eradicate in 2022. No child should experience sexual abuse or sex through sex trafficking or in their family or in their community. We have in 2021 software that connects all of the global software so that we can protect children from this terrible, terrible humanity affliction of doing harm to children in such a vile way. So that is a wonderful thing that happened in 2021. NASA made oxygen on Mars. I don't know how you feel about that. That doesn't make me feel so great, but it's a 2021 great thing, I guess, because since John F. Kennedy, we have been fighting to get to the moon and fighting to get to the Mars and Jupiter and all these places, I guess, to populate them because we were destroying the Earth. I say, okay, that's great, that's fine, but I'm not really sure. Okay, yay for Mars. We got and NASA. So I'll leave that one alone. I could ponder that for hours. Okay. Virtual queues revolutionize waiting. Again, another thing that I'm not sure I feel good about, because I'm trying to actually lower my social media footprint and meaning things like virtual queues and all of that. But at the end of the day, Alexa has saved my life and waking me up on time and reminding me to go to bed. And so all these virtual queue type of softwares and applications are really assisting people, particularly caregivers. So there's areas where virtual queue applications and software are particularly helping caregivers by queuing them or queuing people with dementia to lock the door or to get up or to turn off the water, particularly when they're in the early stages. So there's a place for everything. It's when we get overboard. It's always about that word excess, okay? The world's first 3D printed school opened its 3D printed doors. In less than 24 hours, 15 to be precise, Affordable Housing Group 14 Trees built an entire school in Malaria this July using 3D printing technology. It is hoped that similar initiatives will help to combat the classroom shortfall in the country as well as the rest of Africa, enabling children to travel shorter distances to school and work in better conditions. Women and children sang and danced in front of the new school to celebrate its opening. So that is a celebration that we learned a couple of years ago that children in Africa had to spend half of their day walking to school or walking to get water first, taking it back home, and then walking an additional amount of time to get to school, which is why many of them dropped out or discontinued going to school because they spent their whole day. And by the time they would get to the school was over. So this is a great accomplishment, and that happened in 2021. A thought to be extinct orchid was found on a London rooftop. So an orchid that they thought didn't exist anymore was found on a, let's see, where was it found? It was growing on top of an investment bank in London. And it was found by an ecologist, Mike Waller, author of Britain's Orchids. He said, this is clear evidence with a little bit of patience and dedication, we can get things to grow anywhere. So an orchid was found. The Met removed the Sackler name from its gallery. So we knew that happened in 2021. And this was done because the Purdue farmer founder Sackler family have increased scrutiny over the methamphetamine addictions and taking responsibility for them. And so the Met removed their name from the various galleries in sort of a act of like, we're not standing for that. As an art place, we understand that addiction keeps people from enjoying art, from understanding art, from living through art, the beauty of it, and the names were removed. Argentine capybaras reclaimed their habitat by force. So I'm not sure. They went in through a gated community and began reclaiming an affluent neighborhood near Buenos Aires, where it was once the territory. They manicured the flowering beds and neat lawns, and they took back this area. And it was, what does it say here? And environmental activism was a valiant move by the largest rodents in the world. So these are rodents that reclaim their habitat by force. So Mother Nature, and I guess this is a good thing, that Mother Nature retook the property where they had turned it into this place just for humans, and the rats decided to take it back. Okay, so however you feel about that, Wired is saying it's a good thing. Uber drivers were granted workers' rights in the UK, and we know we voted on that in California here, how we were going to do taxes and how what rates of pay for Uber drivers. United flew the first passenger aircraft with 100% sustainable fuel, so that's a good thing. Electric vehicles outsold diesel for the first time in Europe, so that's a good thing. I'm moving it along because we're running out of time. The Ever Given was freed from the Suez Canal. So it is a sign of just how grim things got earlier this year, that one of the most widely talked and joked about events was a container ship getting stuck in the Suez Canal for 6 days. So it is now freed, and I don't know where it went. We don't know where it went. Renewable energy had a record in 2021. So we're using renewable energy more. And people started doing more acts of kindness in 2021 with people that they did not know. They were showing that philanthropic gifts went up. Again, a lot of people did well in the stock market. So that was another good thing in 2021. Little bit more than 21 things, but yeah, so those are some, that was from Wired. So they're, Wired's a little funny about what they pull up, but I thought I would use that instead of it being usually some of the other things that I talk about, making it a little bit more global for our global audience as well, because all those things impact all of us. In addition, one of the things that I think that I want to say to you that happened in 2021, we grew as a family here at Life is a Sacred Journey. You stretched me, and I learned more about media and how to use cameras, how to use lighting, how to use makeup, how to use all that to make sure that we had a presentation that was one that wasn't too overwhelming and overstimulating, but yet focused you where our primary focus here at Life is a Journey is. We had people come on, many people that we asked to make little videos that you will show in January, just thanking them and thanking you for participating in these conversations that we hope help to uplift your spirit and make your day a little bit better after you joined us on Fridays at 8 a.m. We found ways to research COVID with experts like Dr. Pearl and other doctors that came and talked to us about how COVID was impacting the lives of our seniors and people of color and all of that. We talked about social justice issues around Black Lives Matter and the atrocities of the loss of life of Black men like Ahmaud Arbery and just all of that. We talked about all those things, and we went deep into conversations where it caused tears to flow here on Life is a Sacred Journey. We talked about our losses, the loss of loved ones that we loved and that we didn't have the opportunity to go to funerals or have funerals or to celebrate together the life of that individual or individuals because we couldn't travel in 2021 in the way that we were doing in 2018, because I'm going to take us all the way back now. 2018 was our last, and half of 2019 was our last normal if you want to call it normal, where we were living without masks in the conversation of COVID. As of November of 2019, we began, those of us in public health and healthcare, began to see this COVID. And it became a part of our conversations, but it was still being looked at as a pneumonia or a flu type thing, right? But you can go back and you can see COVID-19 being talked about in November of that year. Then that's why it's 19, by the way. And then we circled around, and by March of 2020, our lives had changed. Our lives had changed. We fussed about Zoom, and we fussed about using it, and now it has become a major part of our communication and how we're able to stay connected, and actually how Life is a Sacred Journey even comes out to you. So much has happened in our lives in 2021. 2021 for me will go down as one of the darkest years of my life. I have had many dark years in my life, but 2021 is now added to that darkness, and it will be with me for quite some time. With that's the doorbell, you guys. Let me turn it off. But in all of that, excuse me for disappearing, I had to turn the doorbell off. But in all of that, I have so much joy. My daughter moved back from San Diego, and I get to have dinner with her a lot out, and we're growing together, and I'm learning from her growing, and that's wonderful. My son is been married now, I think 2 years, 3 years, who knows, I can't remember, but he's married and happy. And we were together for Christmas, really together for Christmas physically, not rushing through a dinner or the year before, just coming together to open gifts. The gifts were simple and not something that we ran around trying to make sure we had a bunch of stuff under the tree. This year, I got to talk to people who I haven't spoken to in a long time, or a cousin that I had never spoken to. That now I have spoken to her, and we have a connection that I love her. She's my family. So these are the things, all the good things that happened in 2021, the funny and more global things that we heard from Wired, but also the things that happened in all of our lives. Take a few minutes right now and write in the chat and share with the Life is a Sacred Journey family one thing that you thought was joyful for you in 2021. You know, we have a great capacity to focus in on the negative and on the things that cause us so much pain, and because we have a tendency to reflect on the hurts more than we have timed, or that we reflect on the joys. But going into 2022, let's reflect on the joys more. Let's carry more joy in our hearts and go out into the world a little bit more lifted up and a little bit more shiny. You know, I was talking about that shine with a group of friends on Wednesday night. That shine that comes from the calm of knowing that everything's going to be all right. You know, eventually this pandemic will be in the history books. Many of us may be dead when that happens, but it will be in the history book. Somebody will be reading about it and never have experienced it. It's just the way life is. But we have to take time to enjoy the days that are given us. That's the one thing that 2021 took me and hit me in the stomach and took me down to my knees. But in getting up, I realized I'm enjoying the joy of life. And going forward, I will enjoy it with an abandonment and with an honor of knowing that it really could be my last second, my last moment, or my last day. So I want to thank all of you. This is our last Friday of 2021 with you. I want to thank all of you for joining us here at Life is a Sacred Journey for all those Fridays throughout 2021. I want to thank all of our guests that came and shared their heart, their knowledge, their thoughts, their wisdom, their love. And to all of you in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey, Happy, happy, happy New Year to you and to your family. And may 2022 bring you miracles, adventure, joy, patience, peace, calm, love. What else? What else? And happiness. All those things, and things that I can't think of right now. So I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and that 2021 goes away peacefully for you. And 2022, that you wake up with joy in your heart, that you're still here, and another day has been granted to you to live out the sacred journey of life. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a great end of the 2021, and I look forward to seeing you in 2022. God bless, and have a good day. Take care. Bye.